Hello, 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 hello. How are you today? How's everything? Hi, guys.
Hello, teacher.
How are you, Lisa?
Good, and you, teacher?
I'm okay. Thank you for asking. You guys will feel today like a little, how can I say, firewall maybe, because tomorrow you guys do not have class, and then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will be off. So it's like a long weekend, a very long one. It's like little vacations. Okay, my dear friends. Now we can say that Thursdays are the new Fridays, right? Well, tomorrow you guys will have it off. Let me show you what's the plan for today. Agenda and plan for today. Here we are. So, today is our second class of this cycle 11, level B2.2. And this is our agenda. Yesterday I talked to Laura and we decided to have the continuation of the continuous performance review, which each of the group we started with. So it means that we are going to continue with this. Yeah, it's just like a little thing, checking what we were doing last night. We'll have our warm-up. That's a game about making the most of visual learning. It's very simple. It's just to activate us, okay? And then we'll be talking about giving tips on how to learn a language well. Because you guys were talking about learning English as an international language, right? So we will have our task. Remember that the task is the part of the book in which you guys have a final product, yeah? Which is usually something you guys have to produce, like to, I don't know, create a report or recommendations or talk about specific topics. But of course, everything related to it will be done with me first, and at the end, you guys will register your final product. Okay? That's the plan, that's the agenda. Questions, comments, tell me. What are the questions? What are the comments?
No.
How's no? How's the energy today? Up? Very, oh no, globalization, no. Up? Very up or no? I thought it was going to be up because you guys do not have class tomorrow. Okay, it's okay, no problem. Let's start. Here we are. Question for you. You guys experienced and lived a pandemic. Well, we all did, yeah, because I am also part of this world, and that was a pandemic that the whole world faced. Tell me about learning this way. Pros and cons. Are you in favor of virtual learning? Are you against it? Tell me. Use all the language you guys just learned about giving some points in arguments. I would like to listen to you. What's your opinion? Because I know that when you guys, well, I think you guys are pretty much like between 17 and 25, maybe. You're so young. So I am calculating that before the pandemic, of course, you guys were maybe in the university or in high school, something like that. So for sure, you guys will, like you lived the clash of that, the different, yeah, the different things we do. So tell me, hi Elkin, what's your perspective? What's your opinion about virtual learning, learning from home, actually working from home as well, and going to the actual place to study? Okay, come on, I would like to listen to you. Let's have it like an icebreaker because you are so shy today. Okay, let's listen to Gerson. Gerson, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, teacher, okay. For me, it was a good experience. A reason for I say this is because I was finishing my thesis, and parallel I was working at university like administrative auxiliar. I don't remember. So I need time for end my task. So in addition, it I spend more time with my family in my town. So learning to stay my time with them and finish my thesis and professional career. And later I had my graduation like mechanical engineer.
Thank
That
you,
was
Gerson. Very interesting. Okay, so you could take advantage of that opportunity. That's nice. Okay, Jose, what about you? Tell us. Jose. Jose, hello? Yes, what's up? Okay, so you can use it. Jose, can you please type a name in the chat? A name of one of your partners? I mean, one of your classmates? Jose? Lisette. Okay, thank you. Lisette, please.
Okay, sure.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Okay. For me, at first, I hated because I don't know, I got distracted easily. And uh, at university, some teachers made learning difficult because they had uh, dynamics or activities that didn't work for me. But I think is a good uh, tool, this virtuality to learn because, for example, we don't have to waste time going to the place of study. Uh, However, uh, another point is that uh, maybe for me and many people, of course, the screens uh, make our eyes hurt. I don't know how to say it,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
my eyes at some point got tired, get tired, and it is difficult to me to learn in on the screen. And that, as I mentioned earlier, uh, maybe it can be easily distracted for some people.
Thank you, Lisette. I agree with you, and I'm talking about my point of view from being a teacher. And it happened the same, yeah, to me, as Lisette, because at the beginning I hated, especially with those groups in which people were very absent. My goodness, for me, so hard because, of course, I was feeling lonely. Yeah, it was like, hey, are you there? It's like, it was like I don't know, calling spirits or something like that. It was like, okay, repeating their names all the time, trying to call their attention. It's so hard. And I think it depends on the kind of groups we have and we face. And of course, as Lisette mentioned, it also depends on the personality because some activities may work for one person, but not for all. Yeah, so we as teachers have a great responsibility on that. They have to change the activities, to change the tone of voice, to do lots of things. But from my experience, students are also, I don't know, like, how can I say, like, sometimes they do not take part, so it's so hard for us to work with people like that because it's so the communication is so broken. Yeah, and I agree with Lise about the eyes. I have any kind of filter you guys can imagine in my glasses because of that. Yeah, it feels so painful sometimes, and especially when you are very tired and you have been in the computer for a long time. And it happens to me that this, I'm not sure, this here, that is the light that the camera projects, yeah, sometimes makes me feel like so dizzy, and it hurts. I mean, this part hurts. So it's so hard, yeah. That's why I told you that I don't like reading with ebooks. I hate it. Yeah. First, because reading for me is something that I enjoy and I like. So if it's from the computer, I feel that I'm working, so I don't enjoy it. It gives me that information, it tells my brain that is part of my job. And I love my job, of course, but reading will be a hobby. So if I have to read from an electronic book, it will be like, oh no, terrible. The other thing, as Lisette mentioned, feeling tired, of course, with the screen. I know you guys feel it because we are together, yeah, in the same time. Okay, but from my point of view as a teacher, it depends on the kind of audience we have. Sometimes it's so frustrating because I know that there behind the screen, you guys can be, I mean, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking in general because I have seen lots of students this way, like lots. But I know that we have the facility of lay down on the sofa, having the cell phone next to us, being chatting, doing other things. So that is a distractor, yeah, and students cannot be very connected to what we do. So from my point of view, it's kind of hard. And I also love the way we are in the real campus. What happens, the real interaction. When you look at us, when you show us you don't understand with your face, when you are doubting and you do not say any word, but you just show us, those I don't know, instant things that happen there in a classroom. For me, is good. But I do both. I also go to the campus, so that's why I love my job. I fit it. Like, okay, if I'm missing this in the virtual mode, I just get it from my experience there. Yeah. Okay. Another thing, just to start with the other activity, virtual learning and remote learning is different. Can any of you give me the difference? Do you understand the difference between remote learning and virtual learning? I think Julian is going to talk.
Mm, remote learning is like that we do, yes,
Yeah.
like a virtual classroom. And virtual learning for me could be with videos, right? And maybe with reading in English and other things. Remote is more personality, could be say, could say.
Yes, Julian, it is. Uh-huh. What we are doing is remote learning. Is you guys have a teacher, real time, because we are connected at the same time. Yes, real interaction. I mean, like what we call in Spanish synchronical, right? And virtual learning, that of course it existed before the pandemic, before the coronavirus. There were some institutions and universities that provide those programs. It is like assignments, you guys have to read, you have to do, you have to fulfill things, turn in documents, yeah. But it was not mandatory to just, having that interaction with your teachers. Perhaps you will have some tutoring or you will check out some videos, yeah, but it was not like this, that is real time. Okay, thank you for your comments. And thank you so much, Jose, for giving me your, oh, I was not Jose. Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay, I think I'm missing a couple of comments in the chat. Give me a second and I will just go back to you, okay, when I read them. So I will give you an activity and that time I will just check your comments. Thank you for commenting, guys. You guys make it easier because you are active, yeah, you talk. So you don't make me feel like I'm lonely talking to ghosts. Thank you for that. That's the idea. It cannot be a conference like me talking all the time. It would be so boring, yeah? Let's start with this. This is a simple thing for you to select some of the things that do well or go well with virtual learning. This is look, it is a game. You guys click on start. You have a mole that is an animal. And you have to check out the rules or the good things to do, yeah, for making the most of virtual learning. How do you say, okay, I'm going to fail, of course, but how do you say making the most of in Spanish? I don't know. Okay.
Making the most of what? Haciéndolo.
Making the most of. For example, you have say this game is about making the most of virtual learning. What would be that expression? Making the most of. If I say, guys, you need to be very active in order to make the most of our lessons. What's that?
Como darlo lo mejor.
Aprovechar al máximo.
Al máximo.
Aprovechar al máximo.
Ajá, aprovechar al máximo, dar lo mejor, ajá, sacarle provecho. Yeah, because as Lisette mentioned, okay, I'm talking about Lisette because she said something about the activities, yeah? Some of the activities would be not good for you. Some of them would be boring, some of them would be interesting, yeah? But there is only a way of making the most of something, even if we don't like it, yeah? So, okay, good. Guys, what do you have to do? You have to click on the things that you consider would be a good idea to do in virtual learning. Like look at the camera, move around the screen. What do you think? Yeah, so you click on it. Complete all assigned work. That's good, yeah? So as soon as you live or guide the mode to that level, it will be more and more and more, okay? Go ahead. You guys have it in the chat. Please work on it for some minutes and then we are back together. While you guys are doing it, I'm checking the attendance. I see I'm missing one person. Okay, you guys start with the game, please. It's raining. while you guys are finishing with the game, I'm checking the attendance. I was commenting back on the interventions you guys made in the chat. Thank you so much for your answers and for being active and attentive. Gerson?
Hi, teacher, present.
Okay, Gerson, thank you. Jean-Claude? Missing. Jessid?
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Natalia? Natalia? Natalia was absent last night, but she wrote me a message. Okay. Natalia. Andrés?
Present, teacher.
Silvia?
Present, teacher.
Joan?
Present, teacher.
Elkin?
Present, teacher.
Okay. Julián?
Hello, teacher.
Jeanette?
Hello, teacher, present.
Good. Carlos?
Present, teacher.
Marvely?
Present, teacher.
Jose?
I'm here, teacher.
You fix it. And Lisette?
Present, teacher.
Okay, my dear friends. So Jean-Claude and Natalia. Okay, guys. In which level did you finish your game? Tell me.
Level 6.
Interesting. The rest of you, guys?
Yeah, teacher. I was in a desert, Tatacoa.
Okay. Good. Okay, my dear friends. It was just, like something simple, just like a game for, getting a little bit relaxed. So, okay, thank you, Jessie, level 6. Okay, thank you, Carlos. Very good. Janelle, level 4, Lisa, 6. Okay, good. Perfect. So, what are we going to do now? We are going to check out a video that has some questions related to the uses of present perfect, yeah? But in its two forms, present perfect simple and present perfect continuous. That was part of the continuous form that we were checking last night, okay? Remember, we have present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, present perfect continuous, yeah? I think that it's okay when we have them studied separate, yeah? It's clear, but sometimes when we have them together, like last night that we have two sentences, sometimes we can, get a little bit confused. So the idea is to just check the similarities and differences, and that's it. Let me show you. That way we can review and done. I bet you guys have seen this guy. Do you know this guy, this presenter? Yes? Not really? Carlos, have you seen this guy? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Teacher, can you repeat?
No, it's just a silly question about this presenter.
Larry?
To be honest, as well as Silvia, I do not know the name. I think Elkin knows him. But the thing here is that this guy is very annoying. Don't you think the same? No? The way he presents, the way he talks to the contestants, yeah? I like this kind of videos, and that's his role, of course, yeah? I mean, that's how he needs to be. Yeah, it is from the British Council and the content is very good. But I hate his way of presenting, it's like, oh my God, yeah? Yes, Jeanette, Silvia. So, let's review present perfect simple and present perfect continuous with this wonderful presenter. I say review because I know you guys know, but let's check out some similarities and differences.
Oh, hello and welcome to today's game show. I'm your host, Will, but I'm no auxiliary. And of course, let's not forget Leslie, our all-knowing voice in the sky.
Hello, everyone.
Tonight, we're going to ask 3 questions about
the present perfect simple and continuous tenses. Yes, those past to present tenses using have plus a past participle.
Okay, now let's meet our contestants.
Hi everyone, I'm Maya.
And contestant number 2?
Hi, Will. My name's Mike.
Welcome back, Mike. Okay, let's get going. And don't forget, you can play along at home too. Question 1. True or false? The present perfect continuous has a use that is the same as the present perfect simple.
Okay. You guys are also part of the contestants. So what can you tell me about this question? Okay, come on.
False, teacher. False.
False?
False, yes.
Okay. Any different answer? No? Okay.
Hey, Leslie?
It is true. Both can be used for an activity which started in the past and continues into the present.
But
well done, you scored 2 points. And for a bonus,
both present perfect simple and present perfect continuous can describe an action that started in the past and continues into the present. For example, pay attention. We have talked about continuous forms for 2 classes, yesterday and today. Yeah? Present perfect simple. Now, in order to say the same, I can say we have been studying, yes, continuous forms for 2 classes. But maybe the difference will be in the intention. Okay, so let's check out.
Into the present.
well done, you scored 2 points. And for a bonus 19 points, can you give us an example?
I've been working as an accountant for 8 years.
And
I've worked as an accountant for 8 years.
Leslie?
Yep, both correct and with the same meaning.
Well done, Maya. You score 6 points.
But you said...
Question 2.
My goodness.
As we've just said, the present perfect simple and continuous can have the same use. However, sometimes the present perfect continuous cannot be used, but the present perfect simple can. Why? Trick question. They can always be used the same. Leslie?
Nope, sorry. Because of its continuous form, the present perfect continuous cannot usually be used with state verbs. This means you must use the simple form, even if you mean continuous.
Mike, if you can give us an example of some state verbs, you can still score. No, need, what? That'll do nicely. 1 point for you. Okay, time for our final question. This one is a picture question. Have a look at this picture and make 2 sentences with it. One in the present perfect simple and 1 in the continuous.
He's been writing letters for an hour. He's written a number of letters.
Leslie!
Absolutely right again. The present perfect simple looks at completed actions and often counts how many or how much, whereas the present perfect continuous tends to see one action in duration and cares about how long.
Okay, guys, this is exactly what we studied yesterday. In simple words, we can say that the present perfect simple focuses its attention on the result. Yeah, do you remember last night when we were talking about what does the writer want to be interested in or show interested, in? We said present perfect simple, the result, which is completed actions, and present perfect continuous for the progressive time, the duration of the time. Yes? Is it clear? Yes? In this context,
Yes, teacher.
in this context, for example, we can talk about the number of pages he has written. Yeah, which is wow, this is what we really care about. How many pages has he written or has he finished? Yeah, the result. I don't care about how he did it. I don't care about the time he spent, just the result. But if we use the second one, it will be about the progressive action. How many hours has he been writing for? Yeah. How many pages has he been correcting? Yeah. So that's in simple words. Those are the difference and the similarities. So in this case, more focus on the result, and here more on the progressive action. Okay.
And cares about how long.
Good job, 33 points to you. Well, that brings us to the end of today's grammar game show. Let's count out the points. And the winner is Maya with 37.5. Well done. Here's what you've won.
It's a toothbrush.
That should help you brush up on your English. We'll see you again next week where you can play for an even bigger prize. And Mike, you got totally destroyed, didn't you? Just wanted to say, bring out the venomous snake. Looks like we'll need another contestant. Thanks for joining us. Say goodbye, Leslie.
Goodbye, Leslie.
Oh, every time. We'll see you again next time.
Okay, my dear friends, questions about present perfect and present perfect continuous? Not really? Okay, so we are ready to move on. Let's see. I have a wheel with your names because sometimes you tend to be quiet or shy. And for this activity, wait a second.
Unit 1, recording 4. 1.
This maybe isn't the most original way, but I think I really improved my English when I watched films and...
Okay. Here we are. So what are we gonna do? This is reading, no, the opposite. Listening for reading, yeah? So this is my plan. If I play this audio from 4.33, well, 4 minutes, 33 seconds, that will be chaotic. You guys will be sleepy, you guys will be bored, or maybe stressed. So what can we do? We can listen, and we can read, and we can check out the vocabulary, and we can try to analyze, person by person together. Yeah, that's my plan. So I don't just play the recording, wait for 4 minutes, and then we have to listen again because we did not understand, or maybe we got distracted very easy. Yeah, that's the plan. So I have some questions for you before we start. And this first question, wait a second. Okay. I don't want to sound like I always call the same names. So that's why I have your names here. This first question is about some point of view from your perspective. Natalia is not in the meeting, sorry. Okay. Andres, it's your turn. It's just to tell me about what would you tell a person who just starts learning English from your perspective, from your experience, because you guys have lots of work ahead, you know, and behind. So tell me.
Sorry, teacher. Can you repeat it because my internet is so bad, so I didn't get you all that you say, please.
Sure, no problem, of course. Just tell us, what would you tell a person who just starts learning English? I don't know, tips, recommendations, things, I don't know, suggestions, something you want to say from your experience.
If I understood you about if I have some advice for a person to learn English, is something like that? Yes.
Andres, but not okay. Let me say something. What if I have here with me? For example, Catalina. Catalina is with me, and Catalina will start learning English tomorrow. Yeah, from zero, you know. And I say, Catalina, talk to Andres. He has learned English, yeah, for long time, and he's very good at English. So go and talk to him. What will you tell her?
All right. Yes, I got it. Yes. The first time I'm gonna try to explain that person how was my process in how to learning English. For example, when we think, for example, I suggest them try to make their life in a immersion process, like try to change your language in your cell phone and try to see movies or series in English and try to listen podcasts in English and because in my case it was a good way to learn English and every single day I am improving my English with that ways. So it will be my suggestion for that person, and because it was my process. And on another hand, I think try to be more confident with himself or theirself because sometimes, for example, in my case, I am oh, I forgot the specific word to describe that, but it's, for example, I'm not confident with me or by myself. Yes.
Confident.
Yes. I don't know. It's weird because I understand almost everything when anyone is speaking in English, even if it's a native speaker. But when I start to, when I want to start a conversation, I went and try to speak in English and some confused. I got confused and I want to try to organize my ideas and let's talk. But it's just try to be more confident by myself, and that's it.
Very good, Andres. Thank you. Awesome. Lots of things. I like that you guys talk from your experience. Good. Next person. Here we are. Don't be scared. Everything is gonna be all right. Jose.
Yes, teacher.
What has been the most difficult of learning English for you? Maybe if a
The
person.
most difficult.
The most difficult what, teacher?
Of learning English.
Okay. I don't know, teacher. I think that the listening comprehension, because in my I usually listen podcasts, so understanding native English speakers, especially those with different accents and speaking speeds, can uh, can be a challenge for me. So I think this another thing. Maybe some things of grammar with complex tenses, some verb conjugation and sentence structures, like the topic that I don't remember
Which one?
what is the name?
Report to speech. Yes.
No, the
Hypothetical
well,
situations.
yes, teacher, yes.
Yeah, I think that's easier than report to speech, but of course, it's a matter of perspective.
Yes, it's tricky. So I think.
Okay, Jose, thank you so much. And our last person for this discussion. Joan, the opposite. The opposite from Jose. What's the easiest thing of learning English for you?
Okay, teacher. Let me repeat the question, teacher.
The easiest thing. What is the easiest thing of learning English for you? Or what has been?
Easy thing
No?
for me. Writing for me, the writing is easy. So easy now.
Not really easy things. Yeah, I think like maybe one thing that is easy. You know what? Okay, John, sorry, continue.
Reading and writing and writing is so no, writing is more easy. Or is it that listening are difficult for me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Joan. Joan mentioned reading at the beginning, and I was thinking that for me, reading, well, it's not difficult, but for me, it's kind of tiring. Sometimes, when you have to read long things and reading exercises are like, oh my goodness. Okay, guys, thank you so much for giving me your opinions and answers. Later, I will go back to the others. Do not worry, wait for me. I would like to listen to all of you. So, let's get ready for this. Why I was asking you those questions? Because we will listen to 7 high-level language speakers, talking about learning strategies that help them or someone they know. So like what were the good things for them, the suggestions, their good practices, their tips, everything. So you guys will help me answer these questions. Which languages were being learned? Yeah. What strategies that she or he described? So we are going to listen to 7 people. So for each one, we will get one. In what ways did it help? For example, Andres gave us some recommendations. Yeah, like listen to podcasts. Okay. In which way it could help you? Well, because you guys will understand more colloquial expressions, and that way we will also train our pronunciation. Yeah. So that's what I want you to do. But as I told you, the listening is so long, so let's do it part by part together. And we can also read the audio script, yeah? Just for today, because it's long. Later, we will have like more challenging exercises of this. Do you agree with that way? Or you say, no, teacher, let's don't read it. What do you think?
Yes, teacher, it's okay.
Yeah, so that way you guys are attentive, following, checking pronunciation. Now that you guys have your microphones off, it's a good way for you to practice. You can talk at the same time as the recording. That's a good way of practicing pronunciation, of course, because you are trying to imitate and you are reading. So we are doing lots of things. It's not, yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, it is, but it's useful because we feel a little bit more confident and we don't get distracted very easily, okay? So let's do it. This is the recording.
Unit 1, book.
No, wait a minute. Let's go to our audio script. I'm not sure which one, maybe this 1.4. No. This. My goodness, very long. Yeah, oof. Okay, let's do it. I think there are 7 people, so 7 paragraphs, and that way is easier. Oh, yeah. We can handle this. Okay. Let's go.
Recording 4. 1. This maybe isn't the most original way, but I think I really improved my English when I watched films and TV programs with the subtitles on. The subtitles help you to, of course, understand better, but you don't feel like you're really studying a language. You just feel like you're enjoying a film with drama or romance or murder, and it's just like enjoying yourself, and it's not like you're learning anything.
Awesome. And that was, these guys speak very, I mean, like the vocabulary they use is kind of very easy to digest. Awesome. Let's start talking about the first one. I would like you to please help me with the questions. There are 3 questions. Do you take notes of the questions? Any of you who can please type the questions in the chat so it's easier for us? The questions are on page 10. The 3 questions that we were going to discuss. I remember them, but I would like you all to have them so you guys can help me answer them. Thank you, Silvia. Which languages were being learned? What strategy does she or he describe, and in what ways did it help? Okay, let's start with the first person. So, which languages were being learned in the first one? I think she didn't mention any. Can you help me? Come on, guys. The idea of doing it like this is because I would like you all to take part in the exercise, okay?
English, no?
Yes,
English.
English. Oh, yeah, English. Okay, good. Thank you, Natalia. I was missing you. Okay, good. So, English. Okay, good. What strategy does she describe, and how it helped? So,
Teacher watch films and TV programs with subtitles.
You see, do you think that it works for you? Do you use the same strategy?
Sorry, teacher, can you repeat again?
Yeah, this is a personal question about you.
Okay. I got it. I got it.
Do you?
I got it. In occasion, I like films with subtitle in English, or in English with subtitle in Spanish.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I remember when I was learning English, but it was like, like very, very basic level. I tried and I got very frustrated and I didn't try anymore until I felt that I had good English because I was so distracted. you know, like trying to read, trying to listen, trying to understand what's going on. Okay, thank you, Jessie. Gerson, thank you for raising your hand. Tell us about you.
Teacher, for example, when you don't understand the movie with subtitles on in English, is a good idea with the movie with audio in English and subtitle in Spanish, or is a worse idea? Only if you don't understand the subtitles.
Well, I would recommend you to just use the subtitles in English, you know, it would be better. But transferring to Spanish, I don't know. For me, it does not work very well. So maybe one of you who works, you know, I mean, Gerson, thank you for your question. In this area, it is more like a matter of perspective, you know, what works for you and for the others, you know, because we are all different kind of learners. In my case, no, I didn't like it because I was taking lots of time trying to translate. Yeah, so I prefer to get the way they say it in English, you know, instead of translating. So that's my opinion. I'm not sure if any of you here in the class can answer that question to Gerson, guys. Silvia says
Teacher, for example, in my case, there is a way that works for me. For example, when I see a movie in English, previously I saw that movie in Spanish and I got the context about the movie. And then I see the movie, I want to watch the movie in English without subtitles, and I know the context about the movie and try to understand and improve my listening. Yeah, this is a good way for me. That works sometime for me.
Okay, Gerson, you have more, you know, more strategies here. Thank you, Andres. It really makes sense because that way you don't get frustrated, yeah, trying to do lots of things at the same time if you don't know it. So you get a little bit of the background, and that's good. Thank you, Andres. Julian, you were raising your hand. Tell us.
Answering the question for, I think that was Gerson, I don't remember.
Gerson.
If you want put the subtitles in Spanish, for me it doesn't recommend. But try to the subtitle are is the subtitle that say, for example, Spanish CC or English CC. It's in in brackets. Yeah, yeah. In brackets, have to is more. I don't know, more specific, more aquatic, because it's like literally translation, and it hasn't too much idioms, like if in English say, I don't know, any word, for example, in the translation to Spanish could say, for example, the way of the words Mexican way. So
thank you, Julian. It doesn't have, okay, got it. Gerson, you are receiving lots of strategies. Wonderful. Okay, my dear friends. So I really like when you guys, you know, like share your experiences. Let's continue. Second one, don't forget about the questions, okay?
2. You know what I'd say, actually, and this is something that I've done myself. I went to learn Spanish in Argentina, and I found the thing that helped more than anything was doing a class in tango. Guitar, I play guitar. And, you know, you go in the class and you're not thinking about learning the language, you're thinking about the instrument, you know, whatever the class is that you decide to take. And somehow it seems to sink in a bit more. The language actually sinks in rather than if you're focusing on grammar or whatever. just, playing the chords and learning the vocabulary of music. I found that was absolutely fantastic, and I'd recommend that to anyone.
Great, awesome. So let's remember again. Question number 1. I forgot. I remembered the idea, but I forgot the question. It talks about the language. Which languages were being learned? What strategies that he described?
Spanish.
Okay, Spanish. What were the strategies? Or maybe, yeah, the strategies. Okay?
Yes, teacher.
What were his strategies for learning Spanish?
Going to a country, what's Latin country?
Yes.
And he was doing a class in tango.
Yeah. Yes. He was trying to get immersed in the language, rather than worrying about grammar or structures. It was more like, like trying to be forced in a good way to learn to communicate. And that's a good idea. That's what I really like these meetings with you, like having conversations, that way you guys can check out also information, common expressions, you can express yourself. That's the way I think you guys will go beyond, because you have lots of information and knowledge in your mind. But if you don't take part in your speaking skills, you are losing that. So that's the idea, having informal conversations, talking about different things, but of course we are studying this content. So this guy was immersed in that. He was dancing, he was playing the guitar. Did it help or no? Did those strategies help him? Tell me.
My case, no.
No? Because he was what?
Because I hadn't tried to play or learn a new art or instrument,
Okay.
for example.
I understand. Gerson is talking about himself, not about this guy. Okay, thank you, Gerson. Good. Okay, now guys, and about this person, did it help the way he did it?
Yes, teacher. If he recommends this strategy.
Yes, Carlos. He recommends that. And I think that is because of the practical way he got it, because he was not so focused on things, specific things, but he was just getting, like lots of things when he was dancing and sharing with people and communicated. Yeah, that's another different way. Good. But you have to be very risky, because if you are shy, and as Andres mentioned before, you are not self-confident, maybe it's not a good idea for you. So always look for the kind of learning you need and you want and you enjoy, as Lisa mentioned, yeah? And don't feel bad. Do not compare to others. We are all different learners, and there are lots of ways to do it, yeah? Okay. Perfect. Number 3. There are people who I have not listened their voice today. Come on, guys.
3. This sounds a bit weird, but a friend of mine told me that the best way she found to learn English, or to improve her English, I should say, was to try and think in English whenever she could. So when she was by herself, walking down the street or on a bus, whatever, she'd look around and try and describe in her head what she could see. Then she used to also imagine conversations she might have with people in the future, or imagine conversation with a friend or something in her head. And I think sometimes when she was by herself, she used to talk out loud to herself even. So she was doing all this practice all the time, just by herself in her free time. It sounds pretty clever to me.
Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Which languages were being learned, guys?
English.
English. And what was the strategy?
Try to think in English.
Try to think in English. Did it help? For the person, yes. Yeah, she said that was fine, yeah? But now tell us about you. Would it help for you? This is something that I tell my students. But of course, we need to know the conditions, like, for example, if I tell you, and if you have very, very basic level, and I say, just think in English, it will be like, come on, what do I need to think in English if I don't know anything, so it would be like so mean. But in your case, it will work. Instead of translating every single thing, why don't you just try to look in the storage you have and try to look for the common expressions? Translation may work in some cases, but at some point it is okay to disconnect from our native language and get more from the common expressions, in the language we are learning. I mean, that's my recommendation and it helps me. Okay, tell me about you. What about this one? Think in English. Okay, I'm going. Okay, this?
About
Mami?
me?
Yeah, about you.
I think this recommendation it's weird, but sometimes I usually do, and I think it's a good exercise because when I done this activity and my mind try to more fast in English and don't try translate all time and my mind yes that's that's it.
Thank you, Madeline. Yeah, faster. Okay, no more fast, but faster. Yes, it works faster because the time you spend translating and checking for the exact words is like, well, you need to communicate, so you are losing it. Okay, Andres, thank you for raising your hand. And then Gerson.
Okay, Tricia. I think that works if you have spent a lot of time learning English, because if you are starting learning, it's almost impossible to try to think in English. It's so difficult. So in that case, if you have spent a lot of time and try, it will work. But the first time, I think it's almost impossible. Yes. For example, I have a question for you. When you start to learn English, was difficult, or how was your way to learn English? Can you give us some advice and how was your process, and it was difficult um, in the first time when you start, or was easily for you? In that case, that you start young, or you spend uh, enough time to learn another language, in that case English. Because for me, unfortunately, I didn't like English 10 years ago, I think so. And my father or my parents told me, hey, you must to learn English. It could be a good for you about your career or something like that. But unfortunately, I didn't hear them. So here in, and now I'm trying to learn and improve. But I would like to know how was your process, and it was good, or you feel some frustrating sometime, and yeah.
Of course, yeah. Okay, Andres, I want to be very short because remember that I'm not the protagonist of the lesson, it's you. And if I talk a lot. But yes, Andres, let me tell you very quickly. It was so hard for me. When I started the career, I had not taken any English course. And I thought that it was just A1, you know, like, oh, let's study this. I decided to be an English teacher because of my English teacher in 10th grade. I was very inspired by her. So I said, I want to be like her, yeah, in terms of her potential and all the things she did in our classes. So I entered university and my teachers did not speak for A1 students, you know, and it was like, oh my God. So it was kind of shocking because I did not have enough knowledge. My classmates, the ones that entered at WIS, they had taken English courses. Yeah, it's not like a requirement for the career, but of course it's good, yeah, to have at least some background. So the most difficult thing for me was listening because the listenings were like a very high level. And we started English 1 at intermediate, not elementary, not pre-intermediate. No, it was intermediate, so it was hard. But later I was just like trying to get as much as common expressions I could. That was my strategy at the beginning, you know. I was feeling like, well, if I start translating every single thing, I have always loved languages and I am a lover of Spanish. And my favorite subject in the school was Spanish, so I know a lot about the syntax, you know, about the language. So I found that if I try to translate every single thing, it will be so hard for me because at the beginning I noticed the difference between the two languages. Romance languages are totally different from, you know, German, English, and the rest of them. So I said, no, this is not working, so I need to get another thing. And I tried to just, you know, like pay attention to my teachers all the time, the way they speak to us, the instructions they gave us, you know, every time they had to tell us something. And I was kind of copying and getting my own vocabulary. And that way helped because I felt so frustrated trying to translate, you know, like for example, when we were learning countable nouns, students tend to compare that to our native Spanish speaker, language, and it's so different. So I said, like, no, translating is not good, yeah. And later, in the middle of the career, when I was in fifth semester, I felt the necessity of being immersed in the language. So I went to the United States, and that way I kind of opened my mind to, you know, different accents, different way of communicating, being forced to use it. Yeah, because I had to live it. Yeah, but it was not like that. I was hanging out with my Mexican friends all the time, so it was not working the way I expected. But later I forced myself to do it. Yeah, and after that, when I was just, you know, I came back to finish my career, and when I was in the higher levels, I tried to stop being so shy, you know, like trying to speak a lot. And even if I made mistakes, the teachers just correct me, and that way I started to feel more comfortable and confident. And well, that's like a long process and things about lots of things that had happened to me. But any other thing that it helped? Subtitles helped, but to be honest, I was feeling like I was the only person in the world that did not work very well with subtitles. Lots of people say that, like, oh yeah, watch movies with subtitles, and I say, like, yeah, but I can't. Why I can't? You know, it was like it's good for everybody, but not for me because I was so distracted. I tend to get distracted very easily. Yeah. So when I was watching movies and with that strategy first, with the Spanish, I say no, forget about this, and it doesn't work because it was more like translating. Yeah. And then I found that having the audio in English and also the subtitles in English will help me more with the vocabulary. And this is something that I recommend you guys because that way you are just connected with English. You forget about Spanish. You are like, oh, that's the way they say this. Ah, okay, in simple words. Oh, this is a Colombian colloquial, expression. Yeah, and that's the last recommendation. Get as much as colloquial language and vocabulary as you can, because that's the way you feel natural and you feel, like you can understand. Even if you don't use it, if you listen to a person using that colloquial expressions, you feel that you know what they're talking about. And that's it. Well, I will be like talking about this forever, but okay. Okay.
Yes, another way could be try to find a girlfriend from USA, Australia, or England. That's could be work, and
Yeah,
that's
could work. Yeah, as I told you, my plan at the beginning was to, of course, learn English. But when I was there, everything was new for me. I was very young, and I was, like more comfortable with my Latin friends. And it was like we all agreed. We said like, well, we are not learning the English we wanted and we expected. Yeah, but later we started, yes, to being a little bit more immersed in the language, in the culture. Sorry. Okay, there was a girl talking. Excuse me for interrupting. No, there was a girl talking. No, okay, guys, we need to finish with this because you guys need to work on something. So let's continue with the other people, just answering the questions, and that's it. Gerson, you were raising your hand.
Okay, teacher. No, it doesn't matter. I only want to say that my opinion. In complement your ideas, for me is good. For example, when I have a interview, a job interview, during the day, I usually think in possible answer and possible question in the interview and answer in my mind. Or for example, when I planning to speak for other people or foreign people, or first I think in my mind about the question and possible answer. So I preparing the conversation before.
Yes, Gerson, it works. Now that Gerson talks about job interviews and he mentioned something about work, this is another recommendation I have for you. Look for the things you enjoy the most, and that way it will be easier for you, because sometimes even if we know English or even if you know any topic in your daily basis life, emotions, situations, well, we are human beings, can just be, well, they can't help. For example, you are very good at English, but you have a job interview and the pressure, like you wanted to just give a good impression. Lots of things can play at that moment, and then boom, that was not good. Yeah, so the way you are learning with things you enjoy, like music, your kind of movies or things, talking to other people, of course, yeah, in an informal way, it will help you a little bit better because your brain doesn't connect that idea with pressure. Like, for example, sometimes if I speak to you and maybe you want to say lots of things, but the teacher will judge me or my classmates, or maybe in a job interview, if I say it wrong, I will be bad, things like that. It happens to all of us, of course. So if you look for the things you enjoy, that would be better because your brain doesn't connect that with. Sometimes when we say learn, we are like, oh, we have class, Sandy is always asking us things, that's boring, blah, 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 or difficult. Yeah, so our brain is like, well, not so free. But if you are just doing it for fun, you will get more things. Yeah. Okay. I think we will listen to two more and I will tell you what is the activity for today. Let's continue with, okay, 4 and 5, I guess. 4 and 5.
4. And when I was 19, I think, I went to England to become an au pair and learn English. And the best thing about this was if I was ironing or hoovering the house, for example, I will put the radio on or YouTube or something like that and listen in the background. So I have all the time the English language going in to my brain without really thinking about it. I think it's best if you don't concentrate, if it goes on, in the background. It's really helpful.
Oh my God, this girl is here because I was an au pair. I told you that I was an au pair. But guys, please, let me tell you something. It does not mean that just going to another place, you guys will learn. You guys are doing it okay, good, and right, yeah? And you are great at English, so keep going. And start working more on your speaking skills, yeah? Like, do it. Just start talking. Because that's something that we as Latin American people, something that I have noticed, we are so shy. If you go to another place, for example, if you hang out with an European guy, the person will be, you know, repeating all the time the words that you say in Spanish. And they learn like this because they are not afraid. Well, I'm not comparing us with them because, of course, they have different conditions. Europeans know at least 3 languages. That's different, yeah? Our culture is not, I don't know why. There must be something in our, I don't know, biology or something. But those European guys know English perfectly. They speak the language of the neighbor, yeah, the other country, and they speak the language of the country, at least 3, but they have that facility, yeah. My recommendation is just try. That's it. Okay. So in this case, English because they're talking about it. So maybe let's check out another one. 5.
Well, I've always believed that learning foreign language, you have to communicate constantly in that. So I would always say, you know, get yourself a girlfriend from the country of the language you wish to learn. 6.
Well, when I lived in Poland, I was never very extroverted as a person, but when I first came to England, I realized that the only way that I would get better in English was to just talk to everybody. So I made myself have conversations with or people I met on the street or at the bus stop or shopkeepers, even people in the cafes. Some people, they weren't always very friendly, but lots of people actually are, and they're very polite, especially the older people.
7.
You know what I do?
Okay. So let's analyze this one and we are done for our activity. Tell me. Guys.
Tell me what, teacher.
5 and 6.
About 3 questions?
Yeah, the questions we were analyzing.
Okay.
This is what you said. Get a girlfriend. Get yourself a girlfriend from the country on the language you wish to learn. I remember I had a Mexican student and he told me he had a Turkish? Polish, I guess. Polish girl, yeah. And that way he learned lots of English because they did not, I mean, like they did not speak the same language, you know. She did not speak Spanish. Yeah, so they had to speak English together. That's an interesting thing. Okay, my dear friends. Any other one? Any other comments on this one? While you guys are giving me your comments, I'm telling you what you have to do. No? Do you agree with the people?
In my experience,
Yes.
I haven't traveled to another country, but I have known people from other countries, for example, in video games. It's a good manner to learn English because in my experience, I have known people from China, from South Africa, from any country, Canada, anywhere. I always ask for their country, and it's and the how you listen many different accent, accents.
Accent, yeah.
Okay. It is work.
Yeah, the accents are another thing, right? I always tell my students, do not feel bad about the accent, but worry about pronunciation. Yeah. I'm not saying that you guys can't have like a very good accent, of course. No, it is okay. If you train it very hard, of course it is possible. But there isn't anything wrong about keeping our accent, yeah? Because those are our roots. And there are lots of accents around the world. But what is important is pronunciation. It is, because that way you guys give a clear message, yeah? Well, there are some accents that are so hard to understand. Which ones for you? Haven't you experienced something like that? That even if you speak English and maybe the other person has like a very, very, very noticeable accent, it's a little bit hard or no? Students tell me Indian accent. I'm not sure. What is your opinion? No? That's the same?
No, teacher is so different.
Which one?
Teacher, is different.
For example, the last weekend I was hearing two people from Belgium. Belgium is
Uh-huh.
so I can could understand all they was said to me because the accent sound too different.
And they, I'm not sure what's the first language for them, but I think it's also, well, I'm not sure, no, I don't want to say the wrong things. But imagine, for example, a person whose first language or native language is not English. It's like, oh my goodness, it's kind of hard. So that's why I tell you and I recommend you to train your pronunciation. Yeah, forget about having the perfect English British accent. No, it's okay. But pronunciation matters. Okay, my friends, what do you have to do? You have to work together, and it's pretty much everything we have been saying. Let me show you. It's raining. Look, here we have the people who were talking. Yes, they were telling us some tips on some strategies they use, yeah, when learning languages. Yes. And now you guys are going to create your own blog, like some recommendations. You can use the experiences you told me, you shared, yeah? And you guys are going to do this. Look, this is your task. Plan a short summary of your needs and motivation as a language learner, because that's what you guys are doing. Yeah, you are learning English as a second language. Okay, I have a question for you. Is English being used as a lingua franca here with you and me?
Here in Colombia?
No, in this class, Silvia, you and I. We are using English for communication, right? My students and your teacher are using English. Is it working as a lingua franca? Guys, you learned lingua franca yesterday.
I think, yes.
No. Why not? Because lingua franca means that it is the means of communication between two or more people whose first language is not English. So that's our second language here because you and I speak Spanish. You know what I mean? It will be as a lingua franca, for example, if you are talking to a Chinese guy. Do you understand? Yes? That's, that's the difference. You talk to a Mexican person in English, that's not lingua franca because we both speak Spanish. Yeah, lingua franca is when it is the only way we can communicate because we have different languages. Like for example, Argentinian and I know Argentinian and
I
Japanese.
got it.
Yes.
When you travel to, I don't know, Japan, and you need to communicate in English because you don't know Japanese.
Exactly, Silvia. Yeah. So a Colombian person with a Japanese guy, yeah, English as a lingua franca because that's the only way we can communicate. At least you can speak Japanese, but that would be Japanese, that would be different. Okay, my friends. So you have to plan a short summary of your needs and motivation as a language learner and what you should do to progress, yeah, based on the answers. Well, in exercise 3, like based on the tips, the strategies, the experiences we were discussing, okay? So basically you have to just give me some tips, for learning English in a successful way, and you can also include your experiences, and it will be so good if you contrast the information by saying some do's and some don'ts. Yeah, you can also take it personally, like, well, in my case, blah blah, but as you are working together, so in our case we recommend you this and this, but please, I don't know, be careful with this because it will get you confused and blah blah blah. Do you understand? It's simple because we have been talking it all the time. My goodness, my voice. Do you understand, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, we do it and we are on vacation. No, I'm kidding. On little vacation. So, I had it ready here, but okay, group 1. My goodness. Oh, I think I did it in the wrong place, but let me just, okay, no, here it is. Okay, my dear friends, in couples, remember you guys are using the number of the slide that you belong to. I mean, your room, yeah? Room 1, slide 1. Room 2, slide 2, etc. Let's do it. See you in a bit. Call me if you need help or anything.
Teacher, excuse me.
What's up, Elkin?
The link is working right now?
Isn't it?
Is the link working right now or no? Because it's not working for me.
Guys, and the rest of you? Oh no. Boys and girls?
I am giving click and click and click and click and click and click and click. I yes, it's working. My screen. Okay, teacher.
Go ahead. Okay, thank you. Julian, I think you called me because of your classmate. That's why.
Because I were into devices and I
So
kept in the same in the same
I'm
room with
sorry.
you.
I will send you to our room, okay, Julian?
Okay, okay. Thank you.
That way you work with. Okay, is any person you want to work with, or
It doesn't matter for me.
okay? So yeah, let me just send you to number 3. Oh, but you have always worked with Jeanette, so maybe another one.
Okay.
Or okay, okay, Julian, thank you. No,
Hi,
oh,
teacher.
no, sorry guys, I was trying to do another thing. Are you working? Okay, good. Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your work. It's raining. Yes, Silvia. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Remember that tomorrow we do not have our meeting, okay? So enjoy your break, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.
Hey, teacher, thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
teacher. Have a good
See
night.
you on
Bye,
Tuesday.
teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Take care, guys.